5-day break, Simon. Can you tell us about your preparation for a massive game tomorrow?
Oh, look, clearly it's different, but a lot of it's been around just getting our players physically right. Obviously we have training sessions today, but mentally the players have been tuned in. We know we've got a big opponent to play against. We know the preparation required, and we're pretty clear about what it's going to take to be successful. We're playing a high quality opposition, so it's been about getting the body right, but more mentally making sure they're ready to go.
Having knocked off the top team and produced a really gritty, gutsy performance, do you take that off the short break into your next game, or do you try and park it and move on?
Oh, you want to enjoy your wins, but you do it for 24 hours. Clearly it gives a lot of belief to our playing group about what's possible and the way they're playing. But it's a new opponent, new challenge, and this competition doesn't allow you to get comfortable. Every week's a new challenge, and the competition demands that you get better. And that chance comes again tomorrow night against Carlton, who we know when we play them, they're tight games, they're close games, and they're exciting games.
Did you learn much? Sorry, Tom. Did you learn much off the 5-day break in Adelaide? Because again, you produced a great performance on that Thursday night.
Yeah, look, I think when you're in these short turnarounds, you're after a mission about going after the game that you want consistently, and we spoke about that post Geelong that. The job's not done. We've still got work to do. We've still got a massive game in 5 days' time and another big opportunity. So enjoy it for what it is, but let's get back to work. Let's get excited. Let's prepare well. And that's what we do as a footy club.
Do you think the AFL and the AFLPA have it right with how many 5-day breaks clubs are permitted to have now?
I think every club's going to go through that, and that's okay. We're prepared for that. That's what the game demands now. And all clubs will go through that type of fixturing, and right now that's where we're at. But that's okay. That doesn't mean you can't perform, and we would never use that as an excuse in the way we perform. We're physically ready. We've had some good long breaks. We've had one game after a 10-day break, and we're prepared well. So we just deal with what's in front of us, and we go after it. And I know our players are physically ready, and they'll be mentally ready.
You mentioned after the game you kept a couple of players out of the VFL just in case. Do you think you'll have to make changes due to fatigue or any knocks?
Obviously today is an important training session for us in our preparation, so we'll get a bit more of a guide today. Jake Bowey, who's been out for a while, has done an incredible job in his rehab. He'll play. So we've got some selection decisions to make around that. So I think that's exciting for our club. He's a high quality player, and the way he did his injury in round 0 was pretty courageous with his shoulder, but the work he's done, the physical preparation to get himself back in this position, we're really confident with his training in the last few weeks that he's ready to go.
John Longmire was really strong yesterday in the send-off rule. Given what's happened to Tom McCartan on the weekend and other players across the journey, what's your view on a red card rule in the AFL?
Yeah, I think there's obviously a lot of the detail that obviously needs to be presented on what that would look like. Fundamentally, it's tough. I think there's a lot of grey in the game as we sit here now. So I think you'd need to get all the information, what it would look like, how it would be executed game day, before you can make a really strong opinion whether it's right or wrong. As it sits here today, I don't like it, but I can understand the real exceptional incidents that happen, that potentially it could be something that's brought in, but once again, you need all the detail.
The prospect of evening things out in game, is that something you think will be fair? So when you lose a player that's been knocked out, the player that does that gets the red card, they're also out of the game, so it evens it out.
Yeah, once again, these are all the things that we're talking about, whether it's an act that causes concussion, doesn't cause concussion, players out, you're out, all these are the details that people would need more information on before you can make a really good decision about what's right or wrong in having a send-off rule.
Just on tomorrow night, it's going to be some big matchups across the field. How can you to see how your defence holds up against their twin attack of Kerner and Mackay, given how Lever, McDonald and May kind of performed against Geelong last week?
Yeah, look, it's going to be an exciting area of the ground. It's an area that we value highly, and clearly with Kerner and Mackay, they're fantastic players and have a huge impact in the game. So I think when you look across the game in general, every line of both teams have threats. in the midfield, ahead of the ball and also behind the ball. So there's going to be great matchups, but there's no doubt, they're huge for them. And, we back our defenders in to get the job done. So it's going to be a massive part of the game in terms of, one, the method to help restrict that, but also the matchups. Every time you play Carlton, those matchups are, I'm sure, why supporters come to the game and get along and watch, and why the games are so tight.
We just heard from Caleb Windsor. He was pretty pleased with how he's been able to fit in and play his role. How happy have you been with him in his first season?
Oh, look, he's been unbelievably, outstanding in the way he's gone about his business. I think when young players come in, you never put any limitations on what's possible for them, and you have that conversation really early days about age won't be a thing that will restrict you from playing AFL footy. He's embraced that. He had an incredible pre-season, and when given the opportunity, he's been able to execute his role and play to a level that's certainly helping transform a bit of our team in the skill set that he gives. And he's embraced everything. He's learning a lot, and I'm sure the way he would have spoken today typified why he's a good Melbourne person.
The AFL's listening to pictures regarding Premiership rings for everyone who plays a game within a season. Do you think this would be a good idea if it was introduced?
I do. Obviously experiencing it in 221, there's some guys that had significant contribution to our team, and we talk about squad mentality, but there's some guys that had significant contribution to our team that year, and also our club over a long period of time that they probably weren't recognised the way they should have been, whether it be Nathan Jones, Neville Jetta, Jake Melksham, Adam Tomlinson, Jaden Hunt, as examples of guys that played 20 games, 10 games, 12 games, 8 games throughout that season that had enormous impact on our footy club for that season in itself that weren't recognised. So I think it's a fantastic initiative that I think a lot of coaches and a lot of clubs would embrace, because we all know you need a squad mentality to have Premiership success, and I think sometimes they don't get the recognition they deserve.
So do you think one game should be the threshold, or 5 games or 10 games?
I think whatever contribution you make, I think if you're contributing to the team for the year, I think you need your squad. You're going to play anywhere between 28 and 35 players for the year, and you need every single one of them to get yourself in a position to have Premiership success, and I think they all should be recognised in some form.